Hey everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be my quarterly DNFs, basically all the books that I did not finish in the last 3 months, so we can look back. And I have an actual date for myself to decide. Some of them I do, hopefully will finish, but a lot of them I think it's just me officially giving up on them. And it's okay. It's one of my challenges this year to learn to put down books that I'm not enjoying, so I can, focus on the ones that I will hopefully enjoy. I think it's kind of working because looking back on my year, I didn't give as many books 1 star. I did give 2 stars to quite a few books. Quite frankly, it's not my best reading year, but I mean, the slump of like the whole pandemic thing, I think it's still affecting me. But looking back at last month, I feel like there are 2 books I could have DNF'd. So I feel like I still need to work on this. Like for example, the Wise Man Sphere. I should have DNF'd it, but like stubbornness, and there's so much hype. I don't really blame myself for that one. And Senlin Ascends, it was our Patreon book club pick of the month. So like, it's the book club book. So I wanted to finish it, and I just still was hoping I was going to love this because I thought I was going to give this one 5 stars. So I'm not really blaming myself for these 2, but I still think I need to work on this. It's probably going to be an ongoing challenge for me forever. But I have a couple books that I am definitely not planning on continuing. There's like 1 or 2 that I possibly will continue. Let's start with the one that I am the most proud of myself that I DNF'd it. I cannot believe I'm not finishing this book and series, and I think a few of you will feel the same. Technically, this is the first book, just to show you. Yes, I think I'm giving up on the Murderbot Diaries series. I know, I was reading book 5, which is Network Effect. I can't get into it. I loved book 1. I raved about it. I think it's funny. It's like a novella. It's sci-fi. It's like 100 something pages, 150. And the main character is funny. It's like half human, and they don't really like humans, but they're forced to work for us, and they just want to watch TV shows. And like, the concept is just fun. But this is book 5, and I'm still waiting to love the story. I love the main character. I have no issues with the writing and everything, but the story, I just don't really connect. And all of the other ones were shorter, like the first book. This one is over 300 pages, so it's finally like a full-length novel. And I still felt like I wasn't into it. I wasn't super intrigued, but yeah, in the past I was just blaming the fact that they were shorter, so my interest would go up and down, and I would be like, it's so easy to pick just the next one up, so why not? But this one is the one I'm officially giving up completely. I believe the series is only 6 books. I'm almost done, but I can't do it. The author's actually coming out with, I think it's a full-length adult fantasy book next year, so I'll continue to read by her, but I think I'm just officially done with this series. I'm okay. I'm proud of myself actually with that one. I think I gave up on it like 50% into it, and I was actually listening to it as an audiobook thinking, that's going to be very easy. It's perfect format, like the main character is like mostly, telling us what's going on, so it could have worked, but it didn't, and it's okay. It's okay. I'm surprised. I'm surprised too, but like, it's okay. We're there. Officially done. The second one that I'm proud of myself for is Magic Lessons, which is the second prequel in the Practical Magic universe. I read the first book and I watched the movie actually a couple times, loved it. I do love like small towns and like modern witches. I like that. And I read the book, and I do think some of the stuff didn't age super well, but overall it was still really enjoyable, and I do recommend it. So I listened to 2 prequel. The first one, I listened to the whole thing, so whenever I got midpoint, a third into it, the second prequel, Magic Lessons, I realized I wasn't enjoying myself, and there's just no point. I really wanted to love it, but I feel like maybe the writing style, it seems very like vague kind of magic, which I don't really tend to connect with that. It reminds me a little bit of like maybe Uprooted by Naomi Novik, or anything by Erin Morgenstern. So if you're looking for something like that, that might work for you. It's more about like how their family started having magic powers, and in theory that sounds good, but I was bored. I caught myself a couple times just having to rewind because I wasn't listening, which I don't do that super often, and for me that's like a clear sign that it's not working. So I didn't finish this one, and I will never finish it, which again, I don't say that super often, so I'm like happy about it. This was technically part of my Goodreads reading challenge, so I'm also not going to be able to vote for that one. I wanted to add that there is a sequel coming out this month, so I might look it up. I think I'm going to wait and see what the reviews say, and if they're really positive and saying that it's closer to Practical Magic, I will be picking it up. If not, I won't. The Enchanted, which this was part of my Pile of Shame series this summer, and I do want to continue doing that challenge every year where I look back at the books that I didn't finish and attempt to finish as many as I can. And this one, I had read 50% the first time, and it's like magical realism. You're basically following someone that is in prison and like imagining things as he's reading books. And when I tried to, attempt the challenge, tried to read it again, I couldn't even get like 60 minutes into the audiobook before putting it down. It's just not for me. Magical realism is just not for me in general, but yeah, no hard feelings. I'm not mad. I have a shamefully long list of books from the library that I didn't finish, nonfiction, because I tend to get around to them whenever I have nothing else. I'm waiting for something else, or they get returned before I have time to finish them because, you have them for 21 days and often they're popular. So like someone else will pick it up. So I have to wait and I forget. And we're here years later and I have yet to finish them. Probably should include those more actually in my pile of shame challenge. But Why We Sleep is something that I need to finish eventually. I do want to. Will I? That's a different story. But about 50%, it got returned. And look, real talk, I have had the worst sleep ever in the last 2 years. And I thought it would be fun, learning about sleep. We don't know a lot about it, so that's fun. That's, interesting concept. Turns out I just gave myself anxiety with this book. Like, honestly, it's interesting, but learning that like sleep is so important, which we kind of know, but you went into details saying how like you're basically slowly but not slowly killing yourself by not sleeping enough. And that one of the things that shocked me and kind of traumatized me a little bit is, a lot of people will have a tendency to not sleep enough during the week and they'll try to catch up during the weekend. Well, apparently that doesn't work. So you're just ruining your whole life, risking every disease ever by not sleeping enough. So not really something I would recommend if you're currently suffering from insomnia. So wasn't the best thing for me to pick up. Eventually, when I sleep better, I will continue because the concept is interesting, but like the anxiety was not worth it. I would just be there, not able to sleep, listening to this, the narrator telling me that I was slowly killing myself, and it wasn't helping. So it sounds a bit much, but yeah, I couldn't. So interesting book, do recommend it, but like not for me at the moment. Last but not least, just to hold myself accountable, Jade War, which is the second book after Jade City. I really enjoyed Jade City. I had the physical copy, so I got used to like reading the names, and listening to them as an audiobook was just too complicated for me. It wasn't like an issue with the book or even the audiobook. It's just I was used to reading them. And I'm already so bad at remembering the names that if I switch, I struggle. So I do want to finish it. Hopefully I can finish it before the end of the year because book 3, the last book in the trilogy, is coming out in November, I believe. So I want to, catch up and be able to read it as soon as possible. But my TBR is looking a little bit ridiculous. Like I'm looking at like the end of the year approaching. I have so many challenges, so many books I wanted to attempt that I don't know if I'm going to have time before the end of the year, but it's still definitely on my radar. I just want to have the date that like right now, I started this book and I have to finish it. So these are all the books that I have officially didn't finish during the last 3 months. Let me know in the comment section which book you have officially DNF'd. If you have read any of the ones that I have read, if you have a different opinion of them, maybe make other people want to read them, you can attempt to, make me want to read them. I don't think it's really going to happen. I'm really happy that I'm finally letting go, especially the first book that I mentioned, first 2. I'm proud of myself for that one. Why We Sleep, it's still going to happen. I swear. Maybe. I need to really get better at finishing nonfiction. I think that might be a goal for me next year because the list is getting way too long. So that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thumbs up, subscribe. I will be putting more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out. And I will see you in an upcoming video very soon. Bye.